moving on now, the Embassy of Saudi Arabia in Abuja has made a clarification about the media reports and social media statements concerning the deportation of Nigerian citizens at the point of entry into the kingdom, saying that those deported did not fulfill the entry conditions and requirements in accordance with the applicable rules and regulations of the kingdom. While in a press release in Abuja today, the embassy says passengers who were denied entry and subsequently deported to their initial destinations submitted incorrect information to obtain a category of visa that doesn't apply to them, which was discovered upon their arrival. While the embassy stressed the importance of following the procedures and laws enacted by Saudi Arabia for all visitors, while advising all passengers to review their documents to determine their conformity with set conditions prior to departing from their countries to the kingdom.
Well, in the meantime, Nigeria's Ministry of Foreign Affairs says it is currently investigating the matter to see if any consular or aviation rules were flouted during the saga. The Made in Saudi Africa Summit has ended in Riyadh, with African countries counting their gains in terms of commitments by the Saudi government. The Nigerian delegation to the talks led by President Bola Tinubu has been meeting with investors, international funding organizations and strengthening diplomatic ties with the country amid the recent controversy over the withdrawal of visas for over 200 Nigerians in Jeddah. Joining us now to review the outcome of the summit is Arise Director of News and Politics Editor Sumner Sambo, who's just back from Riyadh. As I say, marhaba. Well, you're welcome. So quickly, these are moments that many Nigerians are looking forward to, and they're excited about the talks. We saw you after that meeting there, and not one, not two, a plethora of gains on the table for Nigeria. Take us through what it was like with Nigeria's #1 salesman, the president.
Yeah, man, very interesting moments here for both countries. Saudi Arabia is the largest country in the Middle East. And then, of course, you also have Nigeria being the biggest economy in sub-Saharan Africa, of course, on the African continent. And it was a sort of mutual cooperation between both countries, this investment summit put in place to ensure that, they are able to share ideas as to how to move their economies forward. Now, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, is trying to see how he will make his country the 15th largest economy in the world by 2030 through a Vision 2030 program that he has put in place. And as a result of that, you see that Nigeria is also trying to push through an economy that will be targeting $1 trillion economy by 2027, and hopefully to the second term of President Bola Tinubu, if he ever gets one, because of the desire by both nations to actually meet the requirements of their population, and then, of course, the teeming demands for services. Saudi Arabia was very keen on saying that, look, through the World Economic Forum, there's a particular direction that they want to get. Through the World Economic Forum, they are going to support Nigeria to grow its services industry. And it's not just Nigeria, it's actually Africa, but they are going to use Nigeria as a pilot to actually see how the services industry can improve. Because if they bring investments and then we keep on doing things using our old ways, bureaucracy, red tapeism and all of that, their investments will not grow. And so there and then, President Bola Tinubu said, look, if it's based on bureaucracy, I'm going to crumble it. I'm here for business and I'm not here for joke. If it's for corruption, I'm going to see how we will dismantle all of that. Well, it's left to be seen if he will live up to that bill.
You can say that again. Well, at the end of the day, how mutually beneficial will this Saudi Africa summit, especially for Nigeria, at the end of the day? What are the pointers that we're looking at to say, look, Saudi means business, and indeed Nigeria does mean business? Have we even, made clear exactly what we want from Saudi Arabia?
Yes, I mean, most of the government ministers who were there specifically mentioned the areas that they want. For example, the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy said, look, Nigeria wants to further expand the use of technology in government. That we seem to be falling behind in terms of digitizing our government activities, and that they will be needing investments in that area. And of course, the petrochemical industry, you have the Saudi Aramco being interested in what goes on. And Nigeria specifically sought for their support support because we have refineries that are not working, and then you know how the Saudis have been able to make a very good fortune out of their own state-owned petroleum company, Saudi Aramco. So NNPCL is going to be having some sort of fusion and understanding with Saudi Aramco as to how to ensure that refineries work, and then they learn how to transform into being a national oil company without being supported by the state. That means it can function anywhere, it can go into investments in any other country, and it's not just restricted. And then the other areas is agriculture, and then solid minerals. There was a lot of interest in lithium mining in Nigeria, and the Minister of Solid Minerals as to how investors can come in, including gold too. The Saudis said that they consume a lot of gold in terms of their population, so they would also want to see if we can, strengthen our mining industry and to allow for agriculture. Actually, one thing that really interested me was a hospital group that actually said that they had been looking for ways to build a world-class military hospital for Nigeria since 2010, 2011, but it's been pretty difficult, especially when then President Umar Musa Yar'Adua was brought in while he was ill and all of that, that they didn't even really like it for our country, that our president was being operated in a foreign hospital. And so that if they are given the opportunity, they will actually come to Nigeria and build a military hospital that's operated through the private, public-private partnership. And when we have such a security-based situation, we wouldn't need to be carrying our own president to go to a foreign land.
Something that comes back to how you started, to what the president said, rate tapism, right? Tapism. Now, when you remove all those bottlenecks, because now you've brought in 3 key areas, petroleum, and that's Saudi Aramco. We also how Saudi Aramco grew here, and nothing like oil theft or someone bursting pipes.
Yeah, I mean, despite all the vast deserts that
you can say that again. And also talking about our natural resource, gold, which some few individuals have been also stealing here. So from your from what you observed on the day with the ministers and all of these people who were with the president, how soon do you think these drawbacks that are hindering smooth running of business between countries and individuals can be taken off?
Yeah, I mean, the good thing about this meeting that took place there, this investment meeting, is that President Bola Tinubu, unlike before, I mean, actually say from the beginning till the end of it, which actually gave some of the investors that confidence that, look, it looks like maybe this government is actually serious. And so some of the issues that were mentioned by the investors, the problems that they've had, some of the previous investors that are coming to Nigeria and the challenges that they have, including one group that ferries fresh fruits, I mean, between Saudi Arabia and Nigeria, all those challenges were made clear. And the president said that, look, I'm the chief salesman. I'm going to be here to listen to all of you. And I'm going to ensure that we get the best value for both countries. If you bring your money here, I'm going to make sure that you can repatriate it, repatriate the profits. There's something called CCC, Certificate of Capital Compliance. The federal government can easily give it to them for them to carry their profits, or even if they want to divest from Nigeria, they can easily repatriate their funds. That's one of the major problems where we're having with the airlines being unable to repatriate their funds. So the president said he was willing to do that. And when they actually complained about some of the processes and challenges that we actually have to, he said he was willing. But the good thing I really liked about both parties is that they were very frank with each other. And then the president said, look, we are going to start now. And there's an MOU that's been signed for the establishment of the Nigeria-Saudi Arabia Business Council. And with the likes of Dangote and others who are going to populate that, the Minister of Trade and Investment, Doris Anite, actually stated that very soon that business council will be inaugurated. And the good thing, just before I round off, is that Dangote himself said that he was willing to invest in Saudi Arabia. So it's not just them bringing money, but he wants to invest into propylene
and
it's a
symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, and so if it looks well, hopefully we can also have Nigerian investors investing in Saudi Arabia.
Great. Sumner, I wish we had time to talk about the the Saudi debt relief that Saudi Arabia
was it,
talks
or
about
even
for
the issues of
the
the
visa.
passengers? Well, I mean, it has to do with the business visitor visa. It's called BVV. A lot of Nigerians have violated that, and that was why you could see that happening. And just left for both countries to actually work things out.
Fantastic. Sumner Sambo, as always. Thank you very much.